Hello everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Sky Factory 3 Let's Play with me, Monkey Thief 86. As you can see from the storage crate, got quite a lot to do today, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to show off one thing that I did between episodes. I've made some drying basins from Integrated Dynamics, which helped turn rotting flesh into leather, a much more useful resource. I expected these to take quite some time, hence why I made 4 and why I did it off camera. However, they literally just take a couple of seconds to do, so I feel a little bit bad about not showing that off, but that's how I've managed to get leather without having any cows. So let's go ahead and use this part, as one of the things I'm finding is I've got so many tools and bits and pieces that I want to keep on me that I just don't have the space for. So I want to make a backpack, and I would like to upgrade that backpack to an iron backpack with a storage emphasis. And what this will let me do is have extra inventory. You can also wear the backpack, which means it doesn't even take up an inventory slot. I'll probably just keep it in my inventory, to be honest, because it's a little bit easier to access that way. I don't have to keep doing like different key bindings and things, because I don't need these kind of things all the time, but I do need them fairly often. So by putting them in the backpack instead, I've now got much more inventory space to play around with. Another thing you may have seen when we went over, I've made a big tank for squid to spawn in to get black ink, because that was one of the resources needed for the drying racks themselves. Right, so where we left last time was needing a zombie head in order to make what's called a, well, we're making a slice and splice first. However, the zombie head is used within the slice and splice to make the component for a farm. Slice and splice requires energy. I'm just going to pop down here so it pulls up. Oh, I need an axe and shears, so let's go ahead and get those. There are only certain inventory slots in the no, not quartz, enriched iron. Where's my iron gone? Yeah, so there are only certain inventory slots, which is why I could just shift click into the slice and splice there. So if we put those in, then it'll start. And this will get us a Z-Logic controller, I believe it is. There's a couple of different things that use zombie heads with different metals. Yeah, Z-Logic controller. And then these parts will get us a farming station. Hooray! Now, this does not have a large enough area from the get-go. We are going to need to give it power. We're going to need to give it a tool, or several tools. We're only going to give it one, but it will perform all functions, so it doesn't matter. And we're going to need to have a way of extracting from it. So this isn't going to be solved in one episode, unfortunately, but we'll get as far as we can. So one of the things I have got here is a flux controller. This is made with a lot of burnt up redstone, just so much, it's like 2 stacks to make these 3 bits, as well as ender pearls and things like that. Flux controllers will okay, move it over here somewhere so it doesn't need to be connected itself. Create networks. So we need to create a new network. fine. And then we can have these flux plugs. So we now have a flux plug and a controller on the network, and it will send and receive RF. One of the things I'm aware of with this mod is it sometimes requires reloading to get things to work properly, so this might not work straight away. There we go, and that's starting to get power. Hooray! So that's worked straight away. And it's just wirelessly sending the power over. So in future we can just make flux plugs and flux points to receive the power wherever we need them to. We can make different networks for different things, so we're not sending power through the same place if it's going to overload it. And then the next thing we need to do is give it a tool. So we want to use a mattock, which will act as both a hoe and an axe in the event that we do anything. And we're making it out of paper, so despite the fact that it's got a really low durability, it has the writable 2 characteristic, which means it will have 5 modifiers. And the reason we want 5 modifiers is because we are going to make 5 upgrades. And those upgrades will reinforce the mattock. I need a lot of obsidian for this, and I completely spaced on that, otherwise I'd have made that off camera. Will reinforce it. A reinforcement means that there's a 20% chance that it doesn't require using a durability point, and they stack. So 5 different reinforcement upgrades will mean that it has a 100% chance of not using a durability point, which will make it indestructible, which is exactly what we want. It means it's not going to take any durability damage whilst it's in the machine. 526, need more. May need to put more gold into the machine as well. I forget whether it's 1 per. So that's 4, so you only need 8 more. And this is why we have so much lava generation, because the obsidian requirements are quite high. Nearly there. And a couple of eggs, but that's fine. So we now just pour the gold into there. Yeah, that's 2 ingots worth that it's taking, so I need 5 more. That's fine. And the other thing we're going to want is item contracts. Hadn't quite finished by the time I pulled that one out. So reinforcement modifiers. So we then just put the paper mattock in there, along with the reinforcement modifier, and pull it out. Put it in, so reinforce 3, reinforce 4, unbreakable. So we now have a mattock that has no durability really. Still has durability of 6, but it might as well say infinite. And then if we put that in there, it very, very quickly fills up, which is not ideal. So what we need to do is to output from here, and this is going to get slightly messy as we need to do that very quickly. There we go. So this is going to export on our red line. If you remember, our red line is the one that will connect straight to that, and we're just going to pull this down and connect it to here, and we're just very, very quickly going to change all of these to extract on red instead. This way these will also put into the machine and get rid of these. Okay, so now these will, that'll be the input chest, and it will export to the red line, which we're now going to take over to our machines over here. Hopefully I've got enough. I do have some more pulsating iron, if not, but this should be fine. Yeah, looks like it's going to be perfectly fine. Now I didn't need to use red for this because we're not actually joining it to this, but the way I want this to work is that all of the things that output into that will use the red line, just so if I do connect things it doesn't matter too much. So this will now start emptying out this part of its inventory. It will harvest everything in a small area here, so for some reason it's ripped up these wheat plants, which I don't understand why, but that's okay. We can plant some more seeds, it's not like we don't have them. But it hasn't hit this outer edge, and the reason for that is it doesn't have enough of a range naturally. It needs a capacitor in there, so we need to go up to a double capacitor to go out to the next tier, and that will then harvest everything on that platform. So that's our next part. So we need one of those, which is two of those, which of course doesn't have an inventory slot for it. Two energetic alloy, which we haven't got to hand, so we'll need 2 bits of redstone, 2 bits of glowstone, 2 bits of gold. Now, one other thing to consider is that there's currently no space for nether quartz essence or redstone essence in our matrix over there. That's fine. That's something we want to handle in a moment. And the way we're going to handle that is by making auto-crafting machines, which will automatically package these into what we will need them for. So we've got some essence there, for example. Let's just put all of that away. Those. So looking at the time on the video, we will do that next time. So we'll just get the capacitors going, because at the end of the day this can have 64 of both of those things in there, no problem, before it starts to complain. Okay. This is where I've also run out of coal dust and I cry a little bit. can just right click the capacitor onto the farm. It then has the range out there, just puts it in automatically. It then has more RF per tick usage, but that's not the end of the world. This is a small issue that it seems to be ripping them up entirely when it should just be right clicking it, but we'll see how that goes and work it out. We might need to change the layout of the farms, as we can have it plant the resources using these. So we've locked these so it doesn't put anything in there, whereas we could put seeds into those slots and it will plant it, and the four corners work out as being these 4 rows up to here, these 4 rows up to here, and these 4 rows up to here, and so on. One thing I do want to do very quickly, the second reason I made the leather, is we want to get going with flight. It's been long enough. It's sat on the ground. It's time to do something about that, which is done through that to get our first jetpack, which needs charging. And we can charge it in capacitor bank over here, or we would if it had any power in it whatsoever. I'm guessing that currently all of the power is being sent over to here. Yeah, it's still ticking up. So we need to increase our solars, as that's going to eat up our power otherwise. So we'll have to show you the jetpack next time. I'll make some more solar panels off camera to get up to the next tier on those, or maybe not get up to the next tier, but make some more of them so we've got more power coming in. But yeah, so that's a good little point to wrap up on. We'll showcase that next time, and we'll get to the auto crafting stages of refined storage. So that's really what this mod really helps out with. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.